All right. Okay, we're going to get started. So, hi. I don't think any of you were in my presentation earlier. Everybody left my room. So my name is Daniela Preglia. I'm an associate registrar here at Innis College. My specific role includes managing all the scholarships and bursaries here at the college. I also do all the financial advising. So I'll be giving the financial talk this afternoon. If you ever need, financial advice or counseling or whatever, I would be the person you'd be meeting with. And I also do some academic advising and some event planning here at the college. So that's my role. I did my BBA at Laurier, I graduated back in 2007. So I was in a very similar position as all of you many years ago. I really liked my degree. I enjoyed it. And I hear good things about students who are here right now. So welcome to Commerce. So you guys are really lucky. Kind of have it the easiest out of everybody because a lot of your choices are made for you, which could be a good thing or a bad thing depending on how you look at it. But yeah, so you're looking for chow? Anyways, so the goals of today's session. So we want you to understand your required courses. So I'm sure you know required courses that you have to take in order to meet your guarantee. I want you to understand the guarantee, what marks you need to achieve to be able to enter into commerce in your second year. Some strategies for selecting electives, managing your schedule, and to help you understand how to use the timetable. So this morning's presentation was all about the calendar. This one is going to be more about the timetable. And then just some strategies on how to get involved while you're here. Just checking the time, see how long we have. Okay, so this is the goal. This is the goal of the session today. Okay. So I'm assuming most of you are familiar with this website. This is the Rotman Commerce website. There's lots of information on there. When I was putting this presentation together for all of you, I spent a lot of time on this website, populating my presentation. So if you haven't, I'm assuming you've all been there. And there's also a portal that you'll be able to log into as well if you haven't already. I talk about that a little bit later on. And then this is the course enrollment page published by the Faculty of Arts and Science. They've actually done some updates to it just yesterday, so it looks a little bit different, but this is the link. And this has all the information you need about enrolling in courses and paying your fees. And again, I'll be talking about fee stuff more this afternoon. And if at any point anyone has a question, just raise your hand and I'll stop. So a little bit about Rotman Commerce. It is a partnership between the Faculty of Arts and Science and the Rotman School of Management. It's the only arts and science stream where you're admitted to the stream and you have an automatic spot in one of the 3 specialist programs, assuming you meet the minimum grades in all your required courses. You enjoy all the other options of arts and Faculty of Arts and Science students. There's other courses. Some students even decide to take other programs. There's certificates. So you have lots of opportunity available to you. And then once you're actually in the commerce program, you have near exclusive access to the RSM courses. So most of the Rotman courses specifically, the ones with the designator RSM, are for commerce students only. If students in any other program really cannot enroll in those courses. So these are the 3 streams. There's the accounting stream, which actually underwent some changes this past year. Now it's just one accounting stream. There are no focuses within that. The finance and economics stream, and then the management stream. And the management stream has 2 new focuses. So these are your different options if you want to focus on something in the management category. And if you go to this link here, if you haven't already, again, it's the Rotman Commerce website. It has these handouts that summarize these 3 different streams, and it even gives you a snapshot of what the different courses would look like within each stream. If you just Control F to find, you will be able to see, you'll be able to find them easily. When I looked yesterday, they weren't updated for 2019-20. It was still a little bit old information, but hopefully they update them to the new year shortly. So I won't spend too long on the degree requirements because that was really the meaning of this morning's presentation. But for you guys specifically, for the BCom, these are your degree requirements. So you need 20 FCE, so 20 full credit equivalent courses to complete your degree. At most 6 of those can be at the 100 level. If for some reason, say you're coming in with AP or IB transfer credits, that's really the only time, or one of the only times, that you would be at risk of going beyond that 6 FCE rule at the 100 level. You can go beyond it, and sometimes there are reasons why that may happen, but anything you complete above that number, above 6 100 level courses, would be marked extra. And what that means is it doesn't count towards your 20 credits to graduate, and it doesn't impact your CGPA, which could be a good thing or a bad thing. You need at least six full credit equivalents at the 300 level, including at least 1 full credit at the 400 level, so a 4th-year course. And then in order to complete, you need at least 8 RSM courses and at least 8 other arts and science courses. And all the other, there's lots of courses that you take. I mean, even in first year, there's your math, there's your echo. Those are all, those are arts and science courses, so that will make up your non-RSM requirement. So for your programs, you have to be in one of the 3 specialists. You still have to complete your breadth. So I'm sure that they talked about that this morning, the breadth requirement that you have to complete. Some of your commerce courses might have a breadth category, or even some of your like echo. I don't know off the top of my head which breadth category echo is, but some of those other required courses will work towards your breadth. So take a look at what courses you need to be taking over the next 4 years. And if you see like, oh, I'm never going to do category 4, maybe I should take something as an elective this year to meet that breadth requirement. That's something you could consider. And then you need a CGPA of 1.5 or higher in order to graduate. Yep. So if you have transfer credits, why don't you come, you can come and talk to me or to Denise at lunchtime, because we can talk a little bit more about your specific scenario, if that's okay. Yeah. So these are your required first year courses. I'm assuming most of you, this looks somewhat familiar. Yes. These are the courses that you have to take in first year. So I'll go through them one by one. So RSM 100, this is your basic like management course. This is your introduction to management. It includes, themes include business in a Canadian context, talks about corporation, corporate governance, organizational behavior, operations, strategy. It's basically giving you the foundation for all the other management courses that you're going to be taking. And in this course, it's a half credit course. You know it's a half credit course because of the H. That's what that means. You need at least a 67%. So Echo 101 and Echo 102, it's micro and macro economics. These courses are the foundation for all 200 level Echo courses, which some of which are required as part of your degree. There are exclusive sections for commerce students. So you would be taking these courses with other commerce students, and you need to get at least a 63% in each course. So it's not an average, it's a 63% in each of them. And if you have transfer credits, you would have to check with ECHO to see if it's sufficient. A generic economics transfer credit that looks like that does not satisfy your program requirements. Again, if this does apply to you, you can always come in and talk to Denise or I afterwards. So math. So the math that you're automatically enrolled in is Math 133. It's calculus and linear algebra for commerce students. If you take this course, this is the course that you're going to be pre-enrolled in. It's a Y course, so it's going to go all year, so from September until April, and you need 63%. There are other alternatives that you can take, and I'm going to go over why you would maybe think about changing your math section. So Math 135 and 136 is meant for students who are interested in a life science program. So if you think that there's a possibility that there are some life science programs that you might want to be in, that you might be interested in, I would recommend that you would check out those programs in the calendar, see what their requirements are, and then you can decide if you want to switch to Math 135, 136. So you would have to go into Acorn after your course enrollment period opens, drop Math 133, and pick Math 135 in the fall, 136 in the winter. And if you do that, you need a 60%. So the course, as the course numbers increase, the course gets more challenging. So that minimum mark requirement does come down a little bit. Math 137, that's something to consider if you are going into the more mathematically based disciplines, such as computer science, actuarial science, stats. And that course, you need to get at least 55%. And Math 157, it's meant for students going into like a physics program. So it's something to think about now. Look at the calendar. I mean, I think a lot of students in commerce take the specialist. You don't need to take any other programs. It is possible though, you know, there might be a minor you want to complete, or there's a certificate. I'm going to talk about a little bit, a psychology certificate I'm going to show you. But if you think that there's a chance that you want to take either a program that requires these courses or even upper year courses, like for example, Math 137 is often required if you want to take 200 second year and up math and computer science courses. That's why you would want to consider switching. And then someone from math is actually going to be there today at lunchtime, a professor from the math department, if you wanted to talk to them about the different levels of these courses. Any questions about that? Okay. So this is the guarantee. So you have 1 calendar year to meet these requirements. So as I already mentioned, RSM 100, 67%. Echo 101 and 102 is 63% in each course, so it's not an average. And then the Math 133 or the appropriate alternative with the required marks. And then you also need at least 4 FCEs. Once you've completed 4 FCEs, you're considered a year 2 student. You are permitted to repeat any required course once, and you have 1 full calendar year to do so. So if you need next summer, they call it clinching. If you need next summer to clinch, say you didn't do very well at Echo 102, you didn't get the 63%, then you could take the course again in the summer in order to meet that requirement. Yep. So it depends on, it depends. If you pass the course, say you pass Echo with a 60 and you take Echo 102 and you take Echo 102 again, it will not count. It will be extra. It will not count towards the 20 credits you need to graduate, and it will not count towards your CGPA because you've already passed the course once. But it will count for program purposes. So Commerce will consider whatever grade you earn towards their guarantee. Say you do Echo 102 and you don't pass. Say you get a 40. Then when you take it again, it will count. Regardless of when you take it, in the summer, it will count towards your CGPA, and it will count towards your 20 credits to graduate because you didn't pass it the first time. Okay? Okay. Does anyone else have questions about the guarantee? And I put the link, it's just to the Commerce website. It has, I mean, basically this information. Yep. Yep. Yeah, so it could be that you want to take either a minor. I mean, a major I think would be kind of tough it would be tough to do within 4 years. So if you can stay here for 5 years, if there's more programs you want to complete, but you do pay higher fees. So I don't know whether many students would want to do that. But say there was a minor you wanted to do, or say you just want to take some upper year math and computer science courses. You have to look at the prereqs for those courses, and the prereqs might include one of those those more challenging math courses. So there's something to just think about now. If you think, oh, I might really want to take a couple second year computer science courses, you might need that harder math. Take that course. Yeah, so you can add a program. There are specific enrollment periods for programs, but you can add it at any point. So you could do it at the end of first year. You could do it at, depending on the type of program, you could theoretically add it in fourth year, assuming you meet the requirements. So you can add and drop programs. Yeah. Yeah, you could, if that's something you're interested in, then you have to look at the requirements, make sure you take those required courses. Computer science, that's one of the more competitive programs to get into. So, whether or not you actually get it, I don't know, but you can definitely try. Yeah. So there are lots of ways to get help if you're worried about not making the guarantee. There are there are advisors at Rotman Commerce that you can meet with. There are the advisors at Innis College. We can also connect you to the various resources that are available on campus. So one thing that I always recommend pretty much to anyone who comes into my door for any sort of academic advising is we have learning strategists, both at Central and at Innis College specifically. I think learning strategists is a great tool to take advantage of. What I always tell students is you're paying for all these services through your incidental fees. So take advantage of them. And I think take advantage of them in first year when you're still learning and figuring things out. And doing something in first year can really set the stage for all 4 years. So that sounds like something that either would be helpful, or if you're struggling and you just need someone to help you with procrastination or how to manage your time or how to study for different types of tests, that's something that you can make an appointment with a learning strategist, and you could do that through us. There are lots of support services on campus, health and wellness, accessibility services, depending on what's going on. And then also, I think it's really important to talk to your peers. I'm going to talk about Flick a little bit later on. That would be one way to be proactive about maybe getting some support and creating a network. Talk to your friends. I think it's important to have a group of people that you can rely on, you can study with. Especially when you're all going through the same thing together, it really creates a bond that I think can be helpful. So in addition to the courses that are part of the guarantee, there are also these 200 level RSM courses that will give you some exposure and understanding of accounting, finance, and marketing, and it will help you in choosing your specialist when you enter second year. So these are courses that you are going to be enrolled in by Rotman Commerce. And I talk about this whole pre-enrollment on a future slide. But these courses you will be taking in first year. These courses do count towards the 4.0 credits you need to be considered a second year student as well. So once your first year is done, other arts and science students request or add programs. You will wait for your BCom invitation. If there are no other programs you want to take, you just want to do the specialists within commerce, you do not have to do anything. You wait for your invitation, and then in July, assuming you meet the guarantee, you can accept the invitation. Everyone is invited to the management specialist, and then if you want to change it, you will have an opportunity to do so. If there were other programs that you were interested in, say there was a minor, say there was a certificate, then you would request enrollment in that or enroll yourself in it, depending on the type of program, just like any other arts and science student. And we do offer information sessions about this. In the winter term, you can always come in for advising, and we can help you sort all that out. So as I mentioned at the beginning of my presentation, I said you guys are kind of lucky because a lot of this enrollment is done for you. This is the case when I went to school. There wasn't a whole lot that I had to pick. I got to just pick my electives. So the courses that are listed there, a total of 4 FCEs. Commerce is going to pre-enroll you into these courses. Once your enrollment window opens on July the 25th, you can change those selections. If they have enrolled you in an RSM 100 course that you don't like the time, you can theoretically change it, but it just depends. It's all based on space permitting. Same with the math. So we were talking before, if you decide, okay, I want to change my math 133, this is when you'd be able to drop the math 133 and take whatever combination of the other math courses. This is also the time that you would add your 1.0 FCEs in electives. I did ask Commerce if you would know about the timing of your pre-enrolled courses. I don't, I'm hopeful that when you log in on the 19th to check your enrollment time, check your enrollments and see if they've already put you into courses, because that will just help you better plan what electives you might be able to fit into your schedule. And then I've also just included the link to the Commerce site about this pre-enrollment. Does anyone have any questions about that, the pre-enrollment? No? Okay. So elective options. So you have one FCE basically that you can play with. What interest do you have? Is there a particular topic that you find interesting? Are there any other programs you're considering taking that you might want to add as a major or a minor? Courses that you may need as a prereq for a future course. There are breadth requirements that you need to be working on. So maybe you want to start there. There are some special first year courses that I'm going to talk about that really year one is your only opportunity to enroll in these. So maybe you want to look into those. And then I recommend having a few different options available, just because as courses fill up, maybe there's only one section of something and it's full, so you're going to have to pick something else. So I've made a sample timetable for you, and I can show you what that looks like. And again, credit, no credit would be useful for perhaps some of these elective courses. With a credit, no credit course, you cannot credit, no credit a program requirement, but you can take an elective as a credit, no credit. So let's say you want to take a language, you want to take Italian, you've never taken a language, you're a little nervous about that grade. You can credit, no credit. It'll still count towards your 20 credits to graduate, but the grade won't appear on your transcript. And if it has a breadth requirement, it'll still meet the breadth requirements. So credit, no credit is a nice tool that you have, and you have up to 2 FCEs that you can credit, no credit. Yeah, 2, yeah. So some students use all of them, some students don't use any of them. But the main thing is you cannot credit, no credit an RSM course. You would not be able to use it for your program then. So Charlie, the principal of the college, he mentioned this morning. We do have these first year foundation seminar courses here at Innis. This is a new pilot project. It's just for Innis students. We have 14 or 15 small classes who are taught by professors who are really passionate about their research and the subject that they're teaching. So we're talking about classes that are less than 30 students. You guys, because this is the pilot year for this project, you will have priority the first week of course enrollment in these courses. So hopefully what that means is that you will have first dibs, and hopefully you can get into whatever course you're interested in. So I've taken a little, I don't know, some of these are the ones that I think sound interesting, especially this one. Back. You go to the Innis website, you can see here a little bit about the program, and then these are all the different courses, descriptions. Where's the one that I think? Yeah. This is a computer science course, but you do not need to be a computer science student to take it. This is going to meet this breadth requirement. This is something you cannot credit, no credit, because it's a small class setting, and it's meant, you're supposed to be coming to class and participating in class. And then this is just something fun that the professors have done to get to know them a little bit better. So when I talked to Donald about these courses, I said, how do I describe these courses to the students? And he says that these courses, they were made to really help you build the skills necessary to be successful while you're here at the university. They help you learn how to read before class and how to participate in class. And he said oftentimes the marks in these courses are actually higher than the courses where, maybe there's 500 of you or 1,000 of you in a particular class, and there really isn't a chance to get to know the professor. I think some people might find, 30 people, that's not a lot of people. It might seem a little bit intimidating, but I think it is a really good skill to learn how to be in that kind of class early on, and, get to know your professor and get to know your peers. Okay. And then these are some other elective options to explore. So we have some first year foundation seminars courses. So these are similar to the Innis ones, but you won't have priority in these particular courses. These are open to all first year students. So it's a small class experience with in-class discussion and participation. And then there's also the ONES programs, which are attached to different colleges. These are similar to the seminars, except that there's normally some sort of co-curricular event or experiential learning. So they could have a guest speaker who comes into class. There could be some sort of field trip. And I've concluded links to both of these places where you can look at all the different course offerings that are available. And then I'm going to talk about Flick on a future slide. And then there's also your own interest. So again, if there's a particular topic that you're really interested in taking, take some things out of interest is what I would recommend. So Flick, do you guys know what Flick is? Have you been somewhat exposed to it? Okay, so Flick is a first-year learning community. It is a group of students who are also in commerce. It is led by peer mentors who are also upper year commerce students. And it's something that is not for credit, but it does appear on your transcript, assuming that you do go to the minimum number of classes. It's normally on Wednesdays from 1:30 to 3. It's normally every other week. And the content addresses 3 broad transitional areas, so academic, developmental, and social. I know with the commerce department specifically, hold on. There's a few different things that they offer. So you'll have an opportunity to tour the Rotman Finance Lab, visit the Commerce Career Center, and then also get some exposure to the Rotman Commerce student organizations. I mean, basically, it just allows you to be with a group of students. If you do enroll in Flick, then you would all be in the same sections of courses. It just gives you an opportunity to know your peers a little bit better, while also, helping you transition into university. Applications are open now. They are due by July the 12th, and the results will be available by July the 19th. And they recommend that if you do Flick, you do stay in your ECHO and RSM courses, because those are the same students that will be in your Flick. So the whole idea of the program is that you build a small community within commerce. And so that's one of the reasons why you would be doing it, is to kind of be in this community. Do you guys have any questions about Flick? Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so the way it works is if you're in Flick, then you will be so your pre-enrollment will be the same. You'll be in the same courses as other students in your Flick. So you would be in the same RSM course and then the same ECHO course. And you can change your sections. Yeah, it's just you won't be in the same sections then with those people, but you could still go to Flick. Yeah, yeah. So the only other thing I'll say about Flick is it's not academic. It's not somewhere where you're gonna learn how to learn about specific content in the courses you're taking. But there will be some skills that you will learn that will help you with your courses. Okay. So, sure. Sorry. So they normally try to group students together based on their college. So this past year, so I'm maybe I mentioned this. I'm the Flick Commerce staff advisor. So this year, I believe it was Innis and new students. It was those 2 colleges together who made up our Wednesday 1:30 to 3. But it depends on enrollment into the program, because the Flick is normally no more than 25 students. Yeah. For Flick? Oh, irregular courses you'll be with other students. Yeah, yeah. It's just with the Flick specifically, if you do Flick, then for the RSM and ECHO first year courses, you would be with those other Flick students as well. But there could be other students from other colleges in those programs or in those courses. Okay, so this course enrollment page has information about dates, deadlines, steps about course enrollment. It has links to the timetable, which shows you when courses are offered. So this just is an important site to be familiar with. Okay, so this is just a summary of how to interpret the section codes. You can see here the Y section is a course that runs all year, runs from September all the way through April. So for example, your Math 133, that is a course that runs all year. Your RXM 100 course, that's a course that would likely be in the fall term. You'll have Echo 101 and Echo 102 there. This is what this all means. Okay, so this is the timetable. Have you guys looked at this? No? Okay, so this should be the place that you make your timetable. I'm going to show you just a few things about it. So again, you're going to be pre-enrolled into a lot of these courses, so you really only have to look for your electives. Let me do one of the. So you can search by department, and I think you can search up to 3. And you can just search, and this is going to show me every single computer science course that's available at all levels. Another thing you can do is you can search by course code. So if there's a particular course you wanted to look for, so this was that course that I was talking about, the Innis First Year Foundation. This is how I would find it. And then the other cool thing that you can do is you can do this advanced search. So in the basic search, you can search by session. So if you're saying, oh, okay, I'm looking for an elective specifically for the F term, that's another way you can search. You can search by course level. You can search if there was a particular prof you were interested in. You can search by morning, afternoon, evening. You can search by days of the week, breadth requirements, etc. So this is, just know that this advanced search is there. If when you log into your Acorn on the 19th, hopefully your course enrollments are there for commerce. That will help you in using this search, because maybe you don't have any courses on Friday and you don't want any courses. You want to keep that Friday open. So you can search for a course maybe like on a Wednesday and see what's available. So there are lots of cool ways that you can search to kind of help narrow things down for you. And if you just put the first 3, like the course code designator, so this is computer science, that will also bring up all the computer science courses. So this enrollment control legend, that will show you the different enrollment controls for a particular course. I have a slide about that, so just know that this is here. And when you go here, this will show you what the priority code is. So in this case, for this CSC 104, computational thinking, it's meant this particular lecture section 0101 is meant for year 1 humanities, year 1 social sciences. So that means you guys would not be able to enroll in this course until August the 2nd. August the 2nd is when priority lifts. And sometimes different lecture sections have different priority. So it's worth checking all of them. Okay, I'm going to go back. So again, this is the enrollment control legend that I mentioned. It's available right at the top of the timetable, and it just helps you interpret the different priorities for the different courses. Okay. So there are 6 different types of enrollment controls, and these are the 3 you'll run into most often in your first year course selection. So P means you or whoever is in that category has priority until July 31st. And then on August the 2nd, it's open to all other arts and science courses. So again, if you were interested in, say, that CSC 104 course, you could add it on August the 2nd. Obviously, other students will have gotten first crack at it, so maybe you won't be able to get your top choice lecture section. Maybe you'll have to pick a different section. R1 means it's restricted to certain groups at all times. So the RSM 100 course that you're taking, it is restricted. Students from other streams are not able to enroll in those courses. They have a special lecture section for those students. And then you may see, maybe not so much this year, but in future years, you may see an E course. That means that you have to enroll at the department, and there's normally specific instructions right in that timetable about what you should do. Contact a specific person, fill out a form, whatever it is that you have to do. So this is just an example of Math 137. You can see here, this is the priority control. So you can see enrollment control is priority. So these students meet the priority. That means they can add this course up until July 31st. And then after on August the 2nd, then any other student can enroll in this course. Does that make sense? And it's just important to check, like I said, the different lecture sections, because sometimes the priority, they're different. So you can use the timetable to actually make a plan. So you see how I have the little arrow over there, add to plans. You can actually add courses to your plan. If you see a tutorial, then definitely add that to your plan as well. There could be practical components. I mean, it's more on the sciences like biology and chemistry. But obviously, if you're enrolling in a course that has a practical section, you should enroll in it. So not all courses have a wait list, but most do. You can only waitlist lecture sections. You cannot waitlist a tutorial or a practical component. As if you're on a wait list, when a space becomes free, you are automatically moved up and added. You could be added to the course, or your wait list position could change. You will get a notification that once you're added to courses. So it's important to check your email or just log into Acorn and check if you have been enrolled into a course. It's really important that you do pay attention, because I have seen students who were added to a course but didn't realize it. And then all semester goes by and the course is on their transcript. And if they don't go to course and they don't do the final, they could fail the course. And so, you don't want to be in that situation where a course has been added and you do not realize that. So just if you have waitlisted a course, just make sure you do pay attention. Eventually, waitlists are turned off. It's like mid-September. So if you haven't been added to a course by then the waitlist is basically deleted. You would still have a couple more days to enroll in a course, but you would have to do it manually, and it's only if there's a space available. You can waitlist up to 2 FCEs, and they do count towards your enrollment limit. So this is your enrollment limit. Up until August the 2nd, you can enroll in up to 5 FCEs. So 5 courses per term. And then as of August the 2nd, you can add a 6. So if you thought for some reason you wanted to do 6 courses and either one or both terms, you won't be able to do that until August the 2nd. And any courses that you have waitlisted do count towards this enrollment max. So you can't be on a wait list for like a whole bunch of courses in addition to being enrolled in your courses. I've already kind of talked about this, so you really need to try to balance things. Remember, you're picking courses for all 8 months, and the norm is normally 5 courses in the fall, 5 courses in the winter. You might have a mix of some full and some half-year courses. So this is just a sample schedule that I made. You can see I've put myself in all of the required pre-enrolled courses. So there's ECHO, there's the RSM courses, my math. But the things in the orange boxes are my possible options for electives. So maybe I want to do Italian. This is when it's offered. Maybe I'm going to do that first year foundation course, the computer science course I mentioned. This is where the flip would be. And then this is the same thing in the winter term. So once you get your pre-enrolled courses, you could go to the timetable. You could pick all the same courses that Rotman has put you into, and then help build your electives. You don't have to do it like that, but if you're a visual learner, that might be one way to do it. When I was in school, it was like cue cards everywhere and map them all out. They didn't have tools like this. just keep in mind that the timetable is not something you log into. So whenever you make your timetable, you can view the oh, I gotta add something. You can go to view plan, and it has like a list at the top, and then it actually has the semester. So just print this, print a PDF or actually print it, because once you close this window, then this will go away. It's not saved anywhere. Yep. So not this timetable, but if you go to Acorn, hopefully by the 19th, you'll be able to see what courses you've been added to. And then it may be helpful for you to come to this timetable and actually like create it so that you can figure out where you want to put your electives. You don't have to do it like that. It's just, that's one way that you could do it. If you wanted to look at it like that, yes, but you don't have to do it like that. You could just know when your gaps are and say like, okay, I want to look for a course that's like Wednesday afternoon because I don't have anything that day. So these are some important dates. You'll be able to check your start time for course enrollment on the 19th, and then your course enrollment actually opens on the July the 25th. And as I mentioned, at this point, you can enroll in up to 5 FCEs, and that includes your waitlisted courses. All enrollment controls are lifted on August the 2nd, and at that point, you can add an extra 1 full FCE should you desire. I mean, sometimes what people do is they take 6 courses and 6 courses because they're not sure what course they want to take. They're not sure what elective they want to take. They're thinking, oh, maybe I want to take this computer science course, and maybe I want to take this English course. So they add both of them. They go to the first week of classes, they get the syllabuses, and then they decide, okay, this computer science course is really interesting. I don't want to take the English course. And then you drop the English course. You just have to make sure that you do drop the course. Don't leave it on your record, because as long as it's on, you're enrolled in the course, you are responsible for completing the course. Okay. The deadline to pay your fees or defer your fees if you have financial aid is August the 28th. And I talk about that in the Acorn presentation, Money Matters presentation at 2 o'clock today. Go into that in a little more detail. Classes begin September the 5th. I believe the res move-in day is a little bit earlier, and I think orientation is the 2nd to the 4th if you're participating in orientation, which I strongly encourage everyone to do. The last day to add F and Y section courses is September the 18th. So it does happen pretty soon in the term. I have your winter holidays listed here, and when classes resume for the winter term. Hopefully the exam schedule is available in like late October, early November, but I recommend you do not book any travel during the winter exam or during really any exam period until you have your schedule. You know, there are possibilities around deferring exams if you say you're sick, you know, there's some sort of emergency that comes up. But when you defer an exam, oftentimes it can happen. You could be writing that exam a whole term later. You could be writing it during the winter period. And I don't think that's great for anybody. It's too far away from the content that you just covered. So don't book any travel until you know what your when your exams are in the exam period. And then I have the S and Y section course end date, which is April the 3rd, and the exam period for the winter. And then I also have this link that has all the dates written out. So just something I want to mention about registration. So there's a few things that happen when it comes to you. So you enroll in courses, so then we can say you are enrolled. And when you actually enroll in courses and pay your or defer your fees, that is when you're registered. So that's just something to keep in mind. If you don't trigger registration, you will be eventually removed from all your courses. So it's 2 steps. It's enrolling in courses and then triggering registration by either paying the minimum balance, which is going to be on your invoice in Acorn, or deferring based on, I'm assuming most of you are from Ontario, so deferring based on OSAP. And your minimum payment to register is on your invoice, which is on Acorn. That's the only place that you can access it. And one way that people pay their fees, I mean, I think the most common is either at the bank or online. You can add the University of Toronto as a payee, just like, you know, whatever, your credit card, and you can pay it like that. So something to be aware of, prereqs and coreqs and exclusions, which hopefully you learned a little bit about this in this morning's presentation. They're not checked in Acorn in real time, but they will be checked at a later date by the department. So if you are enrolled in something and you do not have the prerequisite, you could be removed from the course. So just don't do that. Acorn will also notify you. I think it shows up in red if you enroll in courses in a time conflict, but it does not stop you. Do not enroll in conflicting courses. Sometimes we have students who say, oh, I want to take these two courses, but they're at the same time, and I think it'll be fine. But what happens if you have a test on the same day in both courses? Because you've put yourself in this conflict, neither professor is required to give you any sort of consideration, which could mean getting a 0 on one of the tests. So just do not put yourself in a timetable conflict. And then there are a few dates where there's absolutely no course enrollment. No one can log into the system to add courses. And that's August the 1st, the 6th, and the 8th. So fees, everyone in first year pays the same amount of fees. All Faculty of Arts and Science students, if you're a domestic student, you pay domestic fees. International student, you pay international fees, but they're all the same. But once you officially join Commerce, once you enter second year and you've accepted the offer to the invitation to the Commerce program, you are in a deregulated fee program and your fees do go up substantially. So that's just something to be aware of. There is some information about how the fees are calculated right there. And then there's also a link to the fees website. Does anyone have any questions about the fees? So I'm not going to spend too long on this. This is just some different places for you to find information on your Commerce community. I've included some links here for you to check out if you haven't already. And the last thing I want to mention, I don't know if you've gotten an email from Rotman already, but Rotman is doing some welcome in-person chats where they're going to talk about your first year courses, talk about the programs, give you some tips on how to select courses and how to study, etc. It's basically going to give you a sense of what it's like to be a Commerce student. These are the dates. Does this look familiar? Have you guys gotten an email? Yeah? Yes? Okay. So, you're here today. You're going to get information from our perspective, but if possible, I would recommend checking out one of the Commerce chats as well. Okay, it's lunchtime. Does anybody have any questions? Or you can always come if you have something you want to ask. You don't want to ask in front of everybody. I will be at lunch and just come and say hello, and I'm happy to help. And then this afternoon at 2 o'clock, I'm going to be doing the presentation on money matters and how to use Acorn. If for some reason you cannot stay, that presentation will be recorded, and you could always watch the video later on.